G'day, welcome one and all to another installment of Guvs Hero Review videos. We are going to be continuing in our rock band series, this time taking a look at the red 5-star legendary hero, Warlock, the demonic drum beater. Probably could have just been left at demonic drummer, but I had to beat them drums. Warlock is available for summons from the Battle of the Bands portal, which rolls around once every 12 weeks, as it's on an alternating 4-week rotation with the Mercenary and Zombie event. So it goes Mercenary, Battle of the Band Zombies, Merc, Battle of the Band Zombies, so on and so forth every 4 weeks. Warlock is a part of the second batch of rock band heroes added to the game in March 2023, roughly 9 months after the event's original release in August of 2022. His artwork, switching over to that real quick, there it is. It does feature, it's obviously got the drums. The drums are made of lava? I guess? I don't know how effective that is at making noise, and his drumsticks are fireworks. A little bit of an interesting setup. We've got, the satanic pentagon and skulls, and a bit of an interesting character. I do like these symbols. I think that's a nice little detail. But anyway, that's the artwork for Warlock. It was provided to me by Sassy, so thank you very much for that. And we'll head back over to the portal again. So having a look at his family, Warlock is a member of the Rock Band family, which means that he will automatically gain armor at the start of each wave. The amount of armor that he generates is equal to 10, 15, 20, 25, or 30% of his health, based on if there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 unique Rock Band family members in the battle. Note that they do have to be unique heroes. You can't bring 2 Warlocks along for the fight. It's got to be like Warlock and Roxy, or Warlock and Undertaker, for example. The Rock Band family members also gain a bonus when they are used during the Battle of the Bands event. Specifically, they will gain plus 4, 8, 12, 16, and 20% defense and attack for having 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 unique Rock Band family members in the team. Note that this only applies when you use the heroes in the Battle of the Bands event stages. It doesn't apply in any other facet of the game. Only in Battle of the Band event stages do you get that stat bonus. So, in terms of Warlock's personal stats, he has got 692 attack, 815 defense, and 1483 HP. So he does have a reduced attack stat. There is an inflation of his defense stat, and to a lesser extent his HP stat as well. His charge speed is set to 39, which is slow. It's requiring 12 tiles to charge, or 6 ghosted tiles. To speed break him, you do need to give him plus 4, which is possible using any of the red speed guns in the game. You've got the 4-star Tigger Happy, the Firewing Trig, or the Chekhov SVK in the 5-star zone. So a double break needs a plus 11 speed improvement, which just can't be achieved at this stage. Even using the plus 9 speed weapon and the speed node, it just can't be done. You need at least a plus 10 speed gun. Maybe that's added later, but right now you can't achieve a double break, even with the class node, making that emblem node an unnecessary expense. So class-wise, Warlock is a member of the Demolitions class, which grants the hero a chance to shell-shock the enemy by removing buffs from the target whenever dealing damage. Removed buffs also trigger an increase of 15% damage per each buff removed, and an additional flat increase of 50% damage from normal damage. Bit of a mouthful. I love this effect. It's effectively a free opportunity for dispelling buffs from the enemy without the need for any special skills. It also bolsters that direct damage quite considerably. You hit an enemy with 3 buffs that get removed, that's 45% increased damage. Bang. So I do typically recommend giving at least plus 1 to all Demolitions heroes once they are maxed, generally. However, for Warlock, I will recommend not putting emblems on him unless you have no other options. This is a little bit of a spoiler for what's coming up next in the video, but I would not put emblems on him personally. If you have to put emblems on him, I would try to bolster his damage output by increasing his attack stat. So just flipping over to my roster just to show an example. I'm going to show an example on Accent because she is also Demolitions and I followed an attack path on her. So this is the path that if you have to put emblems on Warlock, I'd follow this path. Although I wouldn't apply emblems personally. Pause it if you need to get a better picture of that. Heading back to the portal and grabbing Warlock again. We'll have a look. He does have a passive effect. The passive ability is unique to the Rock Band family at the current state of affairs. There's no other heroes with passives, and in the case of Warlock, he applies a +1 stack at the end of each turn, which applies -1% healing received to a maximum of 20 stacks, so up to -20% healing received for the enemies. Stacks are separate to buffs and ailments. The only way to reverse a negative stat is with the positive version of that same stack. So specifically for Warlock, he can be reversed using Mayhem, who does a positive healing stack. And vice versa, you can use Warlock to negate or remove some of Mayhem's positive healing stack. Bit of a mouthful. You can temporarily reverse it using buffs because they multiply against each other and cancel each other out. But generally speaking, that's only temporary. It doesn't remove the stack from the heroes. Continuing down his hero card, we get to his special skill, which is titled Infernal Beat, which will, at level 10 skill and 39 charge speed, will deal 200% damage to all enemies and will burn all enemies for -309 HP over 3 turns, and apply 5 stacks to all enemies, each of those stacks doing -1% healing, up to a maximum of 20 stacks, or -20% healing received. So breaking that apart a little bit, we'll start with the direct damage component of his skill. So damage is best compared, I've found, on an attack power per tile basis. Damage is quite hard to calculate because it ranges based on buffs and defense stats and so on and so forth. But the attack power is roughly translatable to a damage output. So in the case of Warlock, Warlock has an attack power of 1,384. So we get that by multiplying the 200% in his attacks in his skill by the 692 attack that he's got. His attack power per tile is that attack power divided by the 12 tiles required to charge his skill, which comes out at 115 attack power per tile per enemy. So it is a little bit of a caveat that it is per enemy on that front. This, unfortunately, ranks Warlock very poorly in his direct damage output. It actually comes in at number 8 of the 9 DOA 5 red heroes in the game. The best one is Scarlet, believe it or not, because Scarlet does 3 AoE 5 attacks consecutive turns. So if you get all 3 of them off, that's 2542 attack power, or 231 attack power per tile. Some of the other ones you've got Barbed Wire, she comes in at 144. You've got Wheels, who comes in at 124, same as Marina variant. And then you've got Warlock down at 115, and the only one worse than Warlock is Cutlass, coming in at 100. So obviously this can be bolstered if you use elemental defense down from like Cutlass or Rudolph, or even Marina's defense down, but the same can be said for all of the other AoE 5 reds in the game. And they've all got better base damage output. So moving on from his damage, the next aspect of his skill is the burn ailment, which is applied to all enemies. So this is worth 309 HP over 3 turns when at max level, or 103 HP loss per turn. Now, there isn't anything inherently wrong with this ailment, but it is a little bit undercooked, being the only other part of a low damage dealing hero. So by way of comparison, we've got Cutlass, who does burn to all enemies at 40 charge speed, and also does elemental defense down to all enemies. You've got Dragon Fist, who does 309 burn to 3 enemies at 57 charge speed, so 10 tiles. He also cuts charge as part of his skill. You've got Inferno, who is 9 tiles to charge and does 351 burn to 3 enemies. And he's also got a Dispel attached to his skill. Horatio, he does 309 to 3 at 11 tiles to charge. Low damage, but generates armor over time. Warlock, he just does the damage, which is very little, and the burn, nothing more. It's just lacking. There's just not much to his ability. Finally, we do move on, and we'll get to the stack element of his skill. So his stack will apply 5 additional stacks to all enemies, each doing -1% healing received. I don't like this stack. As was if you watch my Mayhem review video, I say the same thing there, but generally speaking, I don't like the additional healing perks, either the positive or the negative. I find them to be fairly negligible, very much so at low percentages. When it's at 50 or 75% reduction in healing, sure, you can neuter a healer, it's actually kind of effective, but at low percentages, it just doesn't do much. So if we take an example where the enemy team has got Doodle on it, you fire Warlock after 5 turns, this gives you 10 stacks in total on all enemies, so minus 10% healing received. This reduces Doodle's healing to all enemies by a humongous 39 HP. That's it. On a hero who's got 1,483 base HP, Warlock, Mayhem, someone like that, that's only 2.5% of their health that you're reducing from their healing. At maximum stack, you're only preventing them from gaining back 5% of their base HP. So I just don't like this. I find it to be very lacking stack, particularly compared to some of the other options that are like doing minus defense ailments, minus attack ailments, blind chances. They're just better status ailments than this reduced healing. If it was a lot more, say it went up to minus 60% as its maximum stack and did 3% healing reduction per turn, sure, sign me up. Probably useful there. But I just don't find it to be very useful in its current format. So overall, I'm not a fan of Warlock. There's no point in hiding it or masking or anything like that. I don't like his stack. I've said it. I find it to be very underwhelming compared to the other Rock Band heroes. His damage output, it's low. His speed is low. They don't complement each other. His burn ailment, there's nothing wrong with the burn ailment. It's consistent with most other burn heroes, but it's not paired with any tertiary effect of note, and it's paired with a low initial damage output. So it's not really even bolstering itself as like getting any additional benefit as pretty much all the other burn heroes get. So I don't know. I just don't like Warlock. I'm sorry if you did summon him. So for his grading, I'm going to give Warlock a C- for war and raid attacks. War Machine's a D+. He contributes nothing to a War Machine attack. Eventing, a D+. Again, he's not contributing anything there. On the raid defense teams and war defense teams, again, a D+. He's got bulky stats, but he doesn't do much. Like, he's not going to fire it at you and you're going to be like, oh, damn, that hurt a lot. Like, it just doesn't happen. Tournaments, I'm going to give him a C- on attack and a C- on defense, and that's only because of the burn ailment. But no, actually, scratch that. He's getting a D+ and a D+ because he loses the stack effect. He loses his stack because there's no healing on those formats. So he can stay at a D+ and a D+. Buff booster, C- on attack, D+ on defense. Charged attack, he gets actually a considerable charge benefit. He goes from 39 slow to 65 fast in charged attack tournaments. So he can have a B for attack and a C+ for charged attack. So overall, that comes out at a C- for his attack and a C- for his defense grades. So I'm sorry if you do have Warlock. I just don't see him as being a very useful hero. But yeah, that concludes the content I have for this review of Warlock. As always, these are just my personal opinions. I love hearing your thoughts and feedback on these heroes, so please, if you've got something that you'd like to say, jump down to the comments of this video, drop me a note there. I love reading them, and I always try to respond to as many of them as I possibly can. If you did enjoy the content of this video and found it to be useful, like the video, subscribe to my channel. There's heaps more videos like this around, but most importantly, share the video around with your alliance mates and the people you play with, because chances are, if you found it to be useful for yourself, it's also going to be useful to other players as well. Thank you once again for tuning in and joining me for this review. I do hope to see you in the next video, which hopefully will be a little bit more positive, but until then, good luck with your PuzzleCombat adventures, happy gaming, and stay safe. Cheers! Bye.